Hey, my name is Charlie Garcia, and today I will be discussing issues and events that caused the American Revolution in the 1700s. Many of these events happened because the colonies thought they were being treated unfairly from the British. And an example of one of these events was the Boston Massacre, which was when it was a disagreement between a wig maker and a British soldier, and Americans started throwing things at the soldiers, and then the British soldiers they couldn't take it anymore, and they just started shooting in the crowd, and a lot of people were injured and 3 men died. There was also the Townshend Act, which was British, where they tried to impose a tax on goods that the Americans imported from the British. So they were buying things from Britain and they wanted tax on it, which just doesn't seem fair. And another event that happened was the Stamp Act, which was the British wanting taxes on all transactions that happened between the colonies, because the British were in debt from the war they had with France. So they were trying to get all the money they could. Reaction to the taxes by British, the colonists started not buying goods from the British anymore. Some colonists dressed up as Indians and sneaked onto ships, where they would go on the ships and they would dump the imported tea into the water. This was called the Boston Tea Party, and this happened a couple of times, where they would go on the ships and just dump all the tea into the water, and basically trying to revolt against the British. And obviously the British didn't like that. And after no change, they did that a couple times and things still weren't changing. A group of colonists fought against the British Army in the Battle of Lexington and Concord. They formed the Continental Army, which was made of all 13 colonies, and the commander-in-chief of this army was George Washington. I think events like the Boston Tea Party and a lot of the other events were necessary, because I feel like if those events wouldn't happen, we would probably still be part of the British to this day. And a lot of those events were defining moments in the creation of the United States of America. Another topic I want to talk about was the constitutional issues, which were the founding fathers and the issues they came across when they were creating the Constitution. Issues like executive power, having fought a war against tyranny, Americans were suspicious of executive power. They agreed upon the Electoral College as a method of electing presidents, where every state has a certain number of electoral votes and they all count towards the election of a new president and not just a popularity vote, which a lot of people are still against to this day. And another topic I wanted to talk about was state versus federal powers, whether the federal government would have more power than the state, so they wouldn't override everything the states wanted to do. Many delegates compromised by allotting specific responsibilities to the federal government while delegating all of the functions to the state, which is a balance of power, so one entity isn't overpowering the other. And that's all I have for my presentation. Thank you.